Here's more of the Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
She's got the fire and the fight of a gypsy. Ain't nothing stronger than the heart of Dixie.
Well, welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 7:45 on a nice Monday morning here. And this Saturday, make sure you mark your calendar for the 2014 primary debate hosted by the Arkansas Federation of Young Republicans. It starts bright and early at 9 a.m. There will be debates with the governor's candidates, 2nd Congressional District, 4th, as well as the Attorney General's race. And one of those participating in the debate is State Representative Ann Clemmer, joining us in studio this morning. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Alice.
And you are running for 2nd Congressional District, and it's a good primary there. You've got yourself, French Hill, and Colonel Conrad Reynolds running. Tell us how things are going. What are your main priorities in this race?
Well, first of all, things are going so well. We just have volunteers, contacting us. What can we do to help? It's a full-time job keeping them going in different directions. So we've got folks on the campaign working with that, it's time to start doing signs, and those are going up. And, of course, the good fundraising continues. We're pleased.
And we've got about a month left until the primary, and this was a big race. 3 folks in this primary here. A lot of people will be. You've been fundraising, raising money. You're going to go door to door, I'm sure. We've seen some ads from some of your competitors, television ads and whatnot. What's your plan for that kind of strategy?
Well, Alice, as we discussed, we don't give away our campaign strategy. Certainly not on the radio to the world. But we're just excited about where we are. We're having a fundraiser this evening. Anybody wants to come, they can contact us.
All right, great. And we'll get your website out before you leave. I want to ask about some of the issues. Clearly, the big issue that has been important and vital to you is the pro-life issue. You are a lead sponsor on legislation prohibiting abortions after 12 weeks. You and your colleagues there in the legislature made great strides on the life issue in this last session. That particular measure, the ACLU filed a legal challenge against that. Judge Susan Weber Wright weighed in. And Friday, Attorney General Dustin McDaniel announced he is planning to appeal the ruling that struck down this 12-week abortion ban. Good news for the pro-life movement. Your thoughts on the AG's decision?
Well, obviously, we're pleased that the AG, and in fact, many of the people who were not with us, are kind of being pushed to be in favor of this appeal, because I think they know that's where the emotions, the hearts of Arkansans are pro-life. And I was very proud and honored to be the lead sponsor of that legislation, because it's important legislation. I mean, it's saving children.
Right. And with this right here, of course, with your appeal, there's a chance that it could get struck down yet again. But in my view, this is a good sign that there is support in the pro-life movement. And in terms of that, what you've done in the state legislature and your tenure there, if you were to be elected in Congress, how would, at least in terms of the pro-life issue, how will you carry what you've done into D.C.?
Well, I mean, I have a pro-life pledge. I mean, I will do everything I can on any federal legislation to protect life. As you are probably aware, there's been a 20-week ban on abortion for the D.C. area, and Congress governs Washington, D.C. So this would be an example of something that I would be very much in favor of, a pro-life bill for the District of Columbia. And
clearly, in Congress, members in the House, certainly right now, the House led by Republicans, they have spent a lot of time fighting against Obamacare, trying to repeal it and replace it and defund it. None of that has worked. The rollout of Obamacare has not been stellar. The website...
That's an understatement.
Yes. The website was a debacle, and we've seen the latest numbers. 7 million, maybe 7.5 have signed up. We don't know how many have enrolled. on that issue, what is your plan in terms of standing up to Obamacare? What are you hearing from constituents? But what's your plan to be if you're elected dealing with Obamacare?
Well, I think until you have a Republican president, a repeal might not happen, but certainly defunding Obamacare is an option that could be taken even with President Obama in office. So I think that would be one of the first steps. If possible, just get it repealed completely. But with a Democratic president that's likely to veto, that might not happen. But I think we have to make steps to repeal it. If the first step is defunding it, then that's where the direction I think that Congress should go.
And what, in terms of the implications and impact of Obamacare, we know that a lot of the promises that were made have not been true. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. If a lot of these issues have not been true, and it's cost jobs, it's cost a lot of people their insurance. What do you say to people as you campaign, as you talk to people, in terms of reassuring them that we can turn the tide on this?
Well, I mean, they just want to know what we can do to stop it. There are many people, especially people in their 50s, that now just cannot afford health insurance. I mean, this idea that somehow the Obama magic is going to come deliver insurance at everyone's door, it's just not happening out there. People 55 years old are really up against it when it comes to insurance. Like, an entire salary might be what it costs, especially if you don't have an employer providing partial coverage for you or partial payment of your premium.
And in terms of, we have the administration, Harry Reid, and a lot of them, when we hear these stories about people that have really been hurt and are affected by Obamacare, they lose their insurance, they lose their doctor, and they write off these stories as these people aren't being truthful, they're telling lies. When you talk to people, how do you convey to them, well, we understand your stories are real, you're not a number, you're a person, and making sure they understand that that's something that's important to you when you go to D.C.?
Well, I mean, the people I talk to, most of them are middle-class folks. They're not wealthy. They're struggling to make ends meet. They want to know that their next congressman can understand where they are. And like most Arkansas families, I've had years where I've struggled to pay the bills, but Congress doesn't. Congress just prints more money, and that's one of the reasons I'm running. Arkansas families, the Arkansas legislature, we all have to live within our budget, and Washington, D.C. just keeps printing more money and pushing it down on next generations. I'm still a fairly new grandmother, 2 years now, but I look at my granddaughter and I think, how will she pay this off? How will her generation, maybe even her children, what will they do with the debt that we're saddling them with?
Another issue, you want to change to Second Amendment rights. You're strong on Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms. When we see tragedies like we saw at Fort Hood, liberals and Democrats in D.C. Dust off the take the guns away playbook. In your position, how will you continue to stand firm on that when situations like this come up, that they use this as an opportunity to take away our Second Amendment rights? How will you stand firm on that issue?
Well, I mean, you stand firm. You object. You vote no against any encroachment on the Second Amendment. I'm the only candidate in this race to have an A rating from the NRA. I've already stood firm on many. I think we had 10 pro-gun bills at least last session. I was a yes vote on all of them.
And looking at, we've got a couple minutes left. How do you distinguish yourself between the folks that you're running against? We have businessman French Hill, Colonel Conrad Reynolds. You're a representative serving in the legislature now. How do you distinguish yourself from those you're running against?
Well, for one thing, I've worked to build this party since I was 20 years old. I mean, I voted Republican at 18. I'm 55 now. I don't mind sharing my age. That's about 35 years of working to help candidates. A friend of mine posted on Facebook a picture from the Iowa Huckabus this morning, and I was like, oh, I didn't have a picture from that. That was 07, but every election going back to 1978, I've worked to help Republicans. No one has to wonder about whether I'm a true conservative or not.
All right. Tell folks how they can find out more about your campaign, if they want to contribute, how they can get involved attending events tonight.
Well, we have a a website at annclemmer.com, but what we find is that most people contact us on Facebook. Everyone's using Facebook these days, and so just find Ann Clemmer on Facebook, and we're there.
All right. We appreciate you coming in, Representative Ann Clemmer. You can watch the debate, listen to the debate here live on 96.5 on Saturday. You can listen to us also on the web. Your particular debate starts at 10:10. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. That
Thanks,
wraps it up for this edition of the Alice Stewart Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll visit with the candidates participating in the debate throughout the week. Have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow. Glenn Beck is on deck. Have a great day.
The Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
Going to some place where I've never been before.